And if you're like, now after hearing all that, Deirdre, I don't know about this coaching, mentoring and masterminding thing. Let me tell you that super successful icons like Richard Branson, Oprah, and even Bill Gates, they swear by their mentors. Welcome to the Master Your Business podcast, where we bring you the best in branding, marketing, and customer experience strategies. I'm Deirdre Martin, your host. And if you've been asking yourself how to level up your growing business, your marketing, your customer experience, or how to make more of an impact with your brand, this show is for you. You'll discover actionable tips and insights to help businesses just like yours gain clarity and illuminate the path to success. Train with industry experts, learn sales and marketing strategies, business and mindset hacks, and be inspired by authentic entrepreneurship stories. As your host, I'll share the no-nonsense advice that accelerated my journey from boring bank manager to industry thought leader in marketing and customer experience. Learn how I made the leap into the world of six-figure success, digital courses, keynote speaking, and co-authoring a #1 bestseller in just 1 year. Together with interviews from industry experts, this show ensures you're seen, heard, and hired by your ideal clients. Join our growing community of subscribers and let the Master Your Business podcast empower you to tackle your most significant challenges on your path to business success. Don't miss out. It's your turn to learn from the best and master your dream business. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Master Your Business podcast. I'm Deirdre Martin, your guide on this entrepreneurial journey. And today I'm going to share lessons with you that I've learned about the transformative power of coaching, mentoring, and masterminds before and after I started my business, and why I will never, ever be without one or all of those things at any one time for as long as I'm an entrepreneur. And plus, we're going to go over some key tips on how to choose the right mentor or coach for you. So stick around, it's going to be a knowledge-packed session. Before we dive in, if you value our episodes, do me a quick favor, teeny tiny favor, hit that subscribe button, give us a 5-star rating if you feel we've earned it, and drop us a review. It means the world to us and ensures that others can discover these insights too. I wouldn't be able to bring this show to you without the backing of my team who helped me produce this podcast. Okay, so let's dive into all things coaching, mentoring, and magical masterminds. You ready? Right, well, let me set the stage. I'm going to take you back on a quick flashback. It was around 2011. I think I had blonde hair. I know, seriously, I was about to be promoted. I was working in the bank. And I've been in the bank for a long time, and my career journey in the bank had meant I'd seen a lot of moves and moved to lots of different roles, and I had been successful in every single one of those roles. But I remember actually 10 years even prior to that, 2002, I was pregnant in 2002, and I was working in Dublin, and I had the regional manager for all of the Dublin branches was based in the location that I worked in. And he said to me, Deirdre, you have a fantastic career ahead of you if you wanted, but if you move down the country, it's going to take you a long time to get promoted. How right he was. It took me 9 years to get my first promotion. And that was because outside of Dublin, people didn't move very much in the banking industry or sector. They stayed where they were. It was a job for life. But in around 2011, this was my first promotion. I had my first introduction to coaching, and it was either just before I got promoted or just after. I don't remember which exactly. But what I do remember was that it was around that time that I had that first interaction with a coach. My initial reaction, pure defense mode. The walls came up. I was asking myself, what did I do wrong that I needed a coach? Why was I getting coached and others weren't? Was everything I said to the coach going to go back to my manager? Every time I had a conversation with the coach, it felt more like an interrogation than a support. And in hindsight, what I realized was I was too institutionalized already at that stage. I was defensive, and I'm ashamed to admit, but I was probably close minded, right? I was close minded to truly really benefit at that time from working with the coach. But looking back, I wish I'd known then what I know now about the sheer power of effective coaching, not just in guiding our business decisions, but in molding leadership qualities. And you don't need a leadership title to have leadership qualities. I didn't know that at the time, but also how coaching can help with amplifying your confidence and can help you navigate the crazy maze that as an entrepreneur crops up every single day with all of the challenges that can arise. Now, I know from having clients who are coaches that my reaction when I had that first coaching experience back in 2011, that's often the case when the organization recruits a coach. Confidentiality and motive for having the coach are reasons that people stay guarded, which I now believe is actually just so unfortunate. And here's why. Fast forward to 2017, I got headhunted from one bank to another. So things really took off for me between 2011 and 2017. I had promotion after promotion after promotion. It was great. And then in 2017, when I moved to that other bank, things took a 180-degree turn. In the new bank, there was a new coaching approach and a whole new perspective on mentoring. This bank wanted all people leaders to apply a coach approach. So I was actually trained to become a coach, and I absolutely loved it. And part of training to become a coach, for those of you who are not in the know, what that looks like is you get a lot of coaching yourself. Usually the coaching is done in triads or groups of 3. So you get to be a coach, you get to be the coachee, and you get to be the fly on the wall observing what's happening between both parties. So it's a fantastic learning experience. And again, when I had that knowledge and skill then, and I came back and I was working with my team, I found that many of my direct reports were exactly like I was back in 2011, because they couldn't see the benefit of coaching. They just couldn't see it. And that's okay. Others weren't totally bought into it, whilst some were completely engaged. And these were the people who were ambitious and wanted to progress. And that's exactly what they used it for. They used it to help improve their progress and increase and improve their performance. So here's what I've discovered is absolutely undeniable. Coaching is more than just a series of guidance sessions, right? It's a transformative journey that can define your professional trajectory. And sometimes in life, all we need is that little bit of support. We need somebody just to kind of take your hand and kind of bring you along a journey. And so I think that's kind of what my realization has been, is that sometimes you just need somebody who'll guide you, mentor you, and bring you along that little bit journey. But anyway, all of that kind of backstory is to give you a little bit of insight into all the coaching that I experienced while I was internal in the organizations I worked in. But as an entrepreneur, like maybe a lot of you are, and some of you who I know have reached out to me, who listen to the podcast regularly. I know some of you have been in corporates as well, background, and so that might resonate with you. But as an entrepreneur, I had my first experience with an external coach when I found out I was going to lose my job in December of 2020, when the bank that I'd moved to in 2017, they had announced that they were closing and subsequently exiting the Irish market. So the minute I heard that news, for me, it was a relief. It was a relief. I had felt, I kind of felt done with banking in 2017, which is why I'd moved from one bank to another in the first place, thinking, oh, this might be the opportunity I was looking for. but it wasn't. And so when 2020 came and I got this news, I was delighted. Now, I was scared shitless. I'm going to say the word. I'm scared shitless. But I knew this was my opportunity to carve out an entrepreneurial path. I had no idea or vision or clue as to what that would look like. And about 18 months before that, I had met a lady in a lunch queue at a business conference and networking event. And we were chatting, as ladies do. And she told me she was a coach. She had coached people online for the past 10 years. And the enormity of that didn't even register with my institutionalized little head. And little did I know, kind of post COVID, that's how coaching for a lot of, in a lot of cases, that's how it's going to look. But anyway, 2020 and the end of the year, I had 3 months notice, which was fantastic. So I did some self-coaching. And I mean, I was reading books about career changing and all this sort of stuff. And I was kind of trying to figure out, what am I going to do? So after that, the first thing I did was I booked a session with that lady I'd met in the lunch queue to get some guidance on how to set up a business on or do something entrepreneurial. Online didn't even register probably with me in 2019. But by the back end of 2020, I was so au fait with Teams and Zoom and all of those things that I was like, how can I start a business? How can I do this? And if I want to do something where I'm selling services, don't I need to be in person and in the ground and have an office and all things? I had no clue. But her wisdom made my path clearer and the challenges less scary. And it just made everything feel so much more doable. This guidance was invaluable, absolutely invaluable. And at the time, I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't invest in myself. I mean, I'd never spent money on myself in this way. Everything before, when I spent money, big money like this, I'm talking 5 figures, close to 5 figures. Anytime I'd ever spent money on anything like this, it was for my wedding, for my house, for changing a car. I mean, even for the kids, I never spent this amount of money before. Actually, on a horse, I did. I bought myself a horse and I spent a lot of money on the horse. But other than that, I hadn't. And I mean, my horse, I dreamed of owning my own horse since I was 7. This was like, oh my God, it's such a risk. I haven't made any money yet. What if it doesn't work? What if my business fails? This would be money down the drain. I was like so frightened. But I was so full of hope and excitement that I decided, like, okay, I'm going to talk to my husband about this. And if he believes, if he thinks I can do this, I'm going to take the leap and I'm going to invest in myself. And I mean, at that time, what was so interesting, and again, I think was sheer luck when I look back at it now, was that had it been 2019 or 2018 when this happened, I probably would have had an office. I probably would have set up some sort of service where people were coming into me. And it probably wouldn't have registered with me that I could be serving clients in the US, in Canada, in the UK, from here at home in my house. And so because it was COVID times, that meant, we were in this online space and world. And actually, that was an opportunity for me to expand outside of Ireland. So it's great. I have clients, the most amazing clients from all around the world, which I just absolutely love. But anyway, reeling back to the 2020 and getting started with her. So I'd said, okay, I was finishing up in the bank about, I don't know, mid-December. And I wanted to take off a couple of weeks over Christmas and then maybe the first 2 weeks in January. So I think it was like the 10th or 11th of January. And I had my first session with this coach. So I'd hired her after she did that first session. And part of her offer to begin with was to do a half-day session together and then to join her mastermind. So for those in the know about coaching, I wasn't working one-on-one with her for a period or in a program or anything like that. That wasn't even offered to me. I didn't even know that that was an option at the time. And when she explained she had a mastermind, I was like, what's that? What's a mastermind? I hadn't a clue. I mean, really, totally clueless. And for those of you who might be thinking, all right, dear, do we get the coaching thing too? Well, I'm clueless. What's this mastermind business? Great question. Totally great question. And it's okay to send me a DM if ever I'm talking about something and you're like, Deirdre, I had no idea what you were talking about in the show this week. A mastermind is a peer-to-peer mentoring group. So picture this. It's a bunch of like-minded professionals who pool their expertise, their resources, and their networks. And each member of this group challenges and supports the others. That's the idea. It's a synergy of brains. The idea is to help you amplify your results and everybody else to amplify the results. So everyone who's involved, that's the goal. That's sort of the dictionary or the exact definition, if that's what you want to call it. But they're not always run that way. It depends on who the host is. So the one I was in was literally sharing expertise and supporting one another. And the host would coach and guide you around whatever challenges or support you were looking for in that particular week. And everybody else, because it was on Zoom, would add their support or chat or comments in the Zoom live on the call or else in the community group that we had as well. So this mastermind and coaching for me have 100% been the jet fuel in my business. Seriously, I kid you not. This one that I joined, it ran for 6 months. And then what happened? I thought, oh, I'll go out alone for a while and save some money. And sure, I know what I'm doing now. And what happened when I didn't refuel my jet? This is what happened. My cash flow was turbulent. It was up and down. And overall, there was a very noticeable dip in my momentum and progress. So after doing this stop-start thing for about 2 years, because I'm 3 years now in business, but for the first 2 years, I was stopping and starting with the coaching, mentoring, and masterminds. And that was what continuously happened. It was turbulent. Progress would dip and performance would dip as well. And that affected cash flow. It also affected me personally and affected my confidence. And I would start to feel discouraged. And I'm not going to lie or say that things are always sunshine and roses and rainbows over here at Deirdre Martin Consulting. They're absolutely not. What I have found, though, is that when I have the jet fuel, when I am in these programs, that it absolutely helps keep me on the right trajectory. So I made a decision in October of 2022. I decided that no matter what, I'm always going to make sure I invest in myself in this way. Because there is a direct correlation between the times that I was being supported in this way and my bank balance soaring. Now, I made an investment back in October 2022. Between you and me, I haven't told my husband about this. Now, he might have figured it out from seeing some of my social media posts. But I mean, I literally scraped my bank balance in October 2022 to invest in a second coach. And oh my God, things had been so turbulent. Cash flow was really bottomed out. And I used to be a bank manager, right? Part of my job at one time was commercial lending, folks, right? I used to lend millions out to people. And so I understand how accounts work and how finances work. And I know that a bank balance that's starved of cash flow for a business can result in no business. That's just putting it bluntly. And so I was freaking out. I had used all of my savings from my redundancy. And I mean, I had joint savings with my husband, but that money is a no-go, could not touch that money. And I literally, I took the money that I had put aside for my tax bill and I spent that and everything that was in my bank balance to invest in coaching because I thought, I need to go gung-ho at this. I have to make this work. The thoughts of working for somebody else full time, it frightens the bejesus out of me. So I thought I have to make this work. And as I record this episode now, it is the middle of October 2023. I've invested over 20,000 euro in coaching this year, coaching and mentoring. And next year for 2024, I plan to budget that and more than 20 grand. This year, I paid to be in a mastermind and had a separate mentor where I worked one to one with a separate mentor. And in the first 6 months in this year, that has resulted in me making over €100,000 in less than 6 months. So that's a 5 times return on investment in 6 months. And by the end of this year, it's looking like my return on investment for that 20 grand is going to be 9 times my return on investment, close to 180 grand in the year. And it's not just me that has this sort of result from working in people, or it's not that I'm special, that I'm doing extra work or anything. I'm really not. I'm no different to you. But recent studies have confirmed that businesses who integrate coaching and masterminds, they see a return on investment often, very often surpassing 7 times their initial investment. So it's not just me. That's astronomical growth potential. But I definitely see the benefit of always being coached. And I hope now, based on my personal story, you're starting to see it too. So I don't know if you have a coach or a mentor or have ever been in a mastermind or are in one right now. But if you're not, please do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor and tap into one. Coaching, mentoring, and masterminds can provide so many benefits for entrepreneurs like you. Things like developing your leadership skills or building your confidence, helping you overcome challenges that arise at a particular time where you're like, oh crap, what do I do here? Or, setting and achieving your goals. Because if you don't have a goal, well, then where are you aiming for? What are you doing? And it's also about creating a supportive network. I always say, to my husband, like yesterday, I had the most terrible day yesterday. And I was talking to him on the phone when he was driving on his way home from work, and he'd had a terrible day too. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm telling you, I had a terrible day. Here's what happened. But I don't want to talk about it. I don't want you to help me or fix it. I don't need that from him about my business all of the time, because I have this support network in the mastermind who can help me if other things crop up. And I have my coach who can help me with my mindset around that if I get stuck in a rut. So there's so many benefits. And I haven't even said that it can help you accelerate your growth, which it can. And I can 100% attest that it has helped me with every single one of those things. Now, if you're thinking after listening to this episode about tapping into this type of personal growth, here's a couple of things for you to consider. So what helped me, I think, was that before looking for a coach, I did a little bit of internal inflection, let's call it, some self-reflection. I was brutally honest with myself about what were my strengths and weaknesses and what my aspirations were. And part of those aspirations were financial, but there were also, and what I hadn't really considered was lifestyle. Like, yes, I'm willing to put in work and effort, but I don't want to be chained to my desk at home for 80 hours a week. I might do 50 or 60, but I'm not doing 80. And then, it's finding a coach who can support you accordingly. I really believe in networking. So join groups, join industry groups or forums or associations that are relevant for you, and then get referrals within those networks where somebody has worked with a mentor or a coach, because then they might be familiar with your industry already. And that personal recommendation, something that's worked for somebody else, is gold, especially if it's from somebody you trust. Another thing to consider is that most coaches or mentors or people who run masterminds, they typically offer a discovery call or a breakthrough call or a clarity call. They'll have different types of names for it. Basically, it's a sales call. And what they're looking for is to see if you're a good fit and if you want to invest and work with them. But from your perspective, it helps you assess your compatibility with this person before you commit to working with them. So what I suggest you do here is be really prepared for that call when you attend. Have some questions ready. And with one of my current mentors, it's a guy. I'd followed him on social media for about 2 years before I started working with him. And I felt I had a good sense of what he was like. And I liked his online consistency. And I could also see the evolution of his brand and his growth, which I felt that it added to his credibility. And so when I hopped on the call with him, it was for these three things. First, it was to see if I thought he was like, if he was the same as he was on social as he was in person, or what he was like, to kind of see if we vibed. And the second thing, it was to see how he might be able to help me level up. So, I mean, I literally spilled all, this is where I'm at, this is what's going on, this is where I'd like to get to. How can you help me? Why are you the right person to help me? So I interviewed him as much as the other way around. And third, it was, okay, so if you can help me, how much is it going to cost me to do that? Now, for those of you contemplating investing in a coach or mentor, here's a nugget of advice. Ensure that they resonate with your personality and your learning style, because it is like a partnership. They do kind of form part of your invisible board. Even if you're a solopreneur, it's like a board member, right? There has to be a synergy. A good coach also is somebody who's going to evolve with time. They invest in their knowledge and then use that knowledge to offer you the latest insights. So have a question ready about how they are growing. What are they doing right now? And what are they doing right now that can support you? So when you're being coached, be open to constructive feedback. It's not that you're going to be judged. It's not about being judged. But think of it this way. If somebody can offer you, a coach might ask you a question to help you figure it out yourself, whereas a mentor might say, based on my experience, this is what I think will work for you. So in reality, what happens is all coaches are supposed to ask you questions and let you figure it out yourself. But the reality is it doesn't work like that. A lot of coaches will give you the answers. And the thing is, they're giving you these answers and this constructive feedback because they're on your side. And for me, this was where I used to get defensive when it was internal in the organization. But the coach or the mentor that you've hired, when they give you feedback, it's not to judge you, it's to support you so that you can get to your next level. And sometimes they can see things about you. They can see how amazing you are. They believe in you sometimes more than you believe in yourself, right? They're part of your team, your coach or your mentor, or even the people in your mastermind. They're on your side. They're part of your team when you start working with them. So something else to bear in mind is that they're not coming to save you either, right? When the shit hits the fan, they're not coming to save you. They are not your mother. They're not your father, but yes, they are in your corner. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort, and you have to be real and open with yourself, and then to get the most out of your investment. I kind of consider it a bit like going to your therapist. If you go, sure, why keep all your cards close to your chest? You have to let it all out. Or if you're going to a doctor, you're not going to make a doctor's appointment and show up and then tell the doctor you're fine, right? Be ready to spill. Be prepared every single time that you go to your coaching, mentoring, or mastermind session. Be prepared every single time with something you want support on, or a question that you want answer with, or somebody you want to be introduced to. Have a goal that you want to achieve at that session. Another tip is to be patient. Coaching isn't like waving a magic wand. It's not your fairy godmother coming and you're Cinderella or Prince Charming or whatever. Coaching is a cultivation process, so it takes time. And just look at some of the best football teams in the world or rugby teams in the world. They progress over time. They're not going to go out and win matches day one. And the last tip I have is budget. Right? While it is an investment, ensure that it's going to align with your financial plans and accounts and cash flow. But don't skimp on quality. If you have more to invest in a coach, pay for a quality coach. It's going to pay off, and the return on investment will be great. if you put in the work and the effort and listen to their advice and all of the things I've just told you. So those are my tips. And if you're like, now after hearing all that, Deirdre, I don't know about this coaching, mentoring, and masterminding thing. Let me tell you that super successful icons like Richard Branson, Oprah, and even Bill Gates, they swear by their mentors. And if these giants can lean on mentorship, well, then there's an undeniable power that that sort of thing is there waiting for you. It's waiting for you to harness it and use it to grow and achieve success in your business. It's there to help you master your business. So as we wrap up, I want you to engrave this in your mind. Every penny and every minute that you invest in your personal growth, be it through coaching, mentoring, or masterminding, it has ripple effects. You grow, your business flourishes, and the entire ecosystem around you thrives. So really then, the return on investment isn't just in the numbers, it's in the leader and the person that you become. And now, if you're not already working with a coach, mentor, or mastermind group, I really encourage you to consider it. It could be the best investment you ever make in your business. And hey, if today's insight sparked a light bulb moment for you, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on the show. Sharing is caring, and your feedback propels us to bring even more value-packed episodes your way. So, folks, until next time, keep expanding your horizons and mastering your business. Thank you for listening.